Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, right at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And yes, it is Saturday at 7 p.m. and you're looking at my handsome mug. What does that mean? Yeah, it's AMA. Of course it is. It is AMA, as every Saturday that I'm on is, if I'm on a Saturday, and I am. So it's AMA time, which means I'm more open to questions of random things, more open to it. Also, try to get more people just random questions in. And so if you're off topic, yeah, it's fine. No worries. We can do that. So generally speaking, I try to stay on topic, but I always do bring something to start with. That is my norm. And the thing I'm going to bring to start with is something that I actually was kind of almost teasing about for a long time, almost thinking that it was kind of silly, not that important. The kind of feud that has been happening recently in the Republican side or right-wing side or whatever side you want to call it, mostly in punditry, but also I think in some of the actual, I guess, messengers also on the Republican side or right side. And I kind of thought, well, it's kind of sideshow stuff. Is it really that, in my view, right? Just how obviously, if you're a Republican, this is an important thing if you're a Republican. But if you're not Republican, I thought, it's a thing. They're going to fight each other and whatever, and they'll deal with it. And Democrats fight each other, Republicans fight each other, Libertarians always fight each other, and they'll figure it out and move on. But it seemed to be a bit more interesting to me recently because it's not going away. And I feel like it's now affecting other aspects and maybe even affecting politics in general, not just a griftosphere or whatever, griftosphere, whatever it might be. Not just that. By the way, if you know you're going to like this, you will. Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Do it now. Don't think. Why are you thinking? Stop thinking. Start clicking. No thinking. Clicking. Think after. Click first. Think later. The more clicking you do, the better off it is for me, of course. So please do so for us so we can move forward. If you can share, repost it someplace, please do so. And if you have not subscribed and or following the page you're watching, please do so now. It does matter. Every bit does count. So please do so if you would. I would appreciate it. All right. So I do want to show. I decided to pick, I don't know which one to pick. There's so many, and this is the other thing I noticed. My YouTube feed is being flooded with MAGA Civil War, MAGA killing each other. I'm getting flooded with this stuff, and I was surprised how much of this I'm getting flooded with. So I thought, okay, maybe this is a big deal. So I grabbed one of them. It's like, there must be like 10 that came into my feed. So I figured I'll grab one of them, see which one that one looks like, and kind of talk about it. So I figured, you know what? Let me use one. And this one is this is Tim Pool talking about the MAGA Civil War, which he, by the way, is also involved. By the way, some of you who like Tim Pool may not agree, but he's feuding directly with Candace Owens, so he's kind of part of this. But here we go.
Infighting erupts at Turning Point USA conference. Two of the night's headliners, Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson, threw jabs at each other in their speeches. And I'm hearing now that people are like, it's pretty tense because you've got different factions now that are basically going to odds with each other.
That's the part I see. The factions are breaking up heavily based upon personality, right? But there's also other issues obviously involved. But it's heavily based upon personality, which that's challenging. You need someone to kind of corral all the personalities. How do you do that without Trump at the top, the strongest of the personalities, corralling them all? He's not doing that. I've been saying this for months, and you guys who love Trump, you're mad at me because of it. But I'm telling the truth. Trump has to corral these people. He put them all together. He is the only guy who can have this. During the show, you'll see someone else says that someone else who can do it. I'm not sure that's true, but Trump's got to step in and be like, guys, I'm the guy. Get behind me, or this is not going to work.
Check this out from Dom Lucre. This is a video of them kicking out Fresh from the Fresh and Fit podcast.
I'm going to zip past this, but yes.
Later reverse and let them both come back in.
They threw out Fresh and Fit, and they had them both come in. Supposedly it was because, for those who don't know, Fresh and Fit are podcasters, heavily in the manosphere, that the red pill community, heavily within that world. And there was a video of Myron saying something that was clearly, or seemed to be at least, I don't know the details of the background, but it definitely seemed to be anti-Semitic. It seemed to be that way. Don't know if it was. I didn't see the context, but from the clip I saw, it did seem to be that. But whatever. They obviously took it as that, regardless of whether it was or not. They took it that way and supposedly got rid of him and didn't want him in, but then let him in again. So this idea of Israel first versus America first, boy, is this tearing up the right.
They both got back in. I think it's very obvious. There is a MAGA civil war. And I'm telling you, I think who's going to win is going to be the Romney-esque conservatives.
Now, the Romney, he means neocons. I actually agree with Tim. I think the neocons are going to win. I said this before. I said this last year. For those who've been paying attention to me, last year I said, when Trump begins to fail, whenever that is, whether that's next year, 5 years, whenever it happens, when Trump begins to fail, watch the neocons come back into play. Watch them try to take their part back. He says Romney, he's younger than me. I'm still thinking Bush, but still, same concept. Neocons back in play. Rubio's a neocon. Thune's a neocon. I told you Rubio's a neocon. Some of you didn't believe me, but I think they're going to come back. I think Tim may be running this one. Now, other people think that's not the case. Other people think that in reality, the America First side is actually going to wind up pushing away from the more MAGA and the more neocon, and that they're going to win. I don't know which one is true, but I could understand both of them. Yes. Phil, thank you for $2, my friend. I appreciate the super chat. If the neocons win, does that help the LP grow? I think yes. I think yes. One of the reasons why Trump won, obviously there are many reasons, but one of the reasons was he was the anti-war guy, right? He brought the Tulsi Gabbards in, right? The anti-war people in. That was one of the factions that assisted in Trump winning last year, right? So if the neocons win, anti-war goes out the window. Neocons love war. So that goes out the window. The left loves war too. So they love war. So it means that only independent parties will be anti-war. The anti-war movement will by default move into third parties, the LP being the biggest one. I think, yes, as much as I don't like neocons taking over the Republican Party, if they do, I think it will help the LP grow because anti-war people will move to other parties, including Libertarian Party. Libertarian Party will not take all the anti-war people. It won't. The Greens will take them too. The Greens are also an anti-war party, to be fair. Obviously, the LP is bigger than the Greens, but the Greens are also an anti-war party. Just to be fair to the Greens, they are also. So you'll see more people leave and go towards LP and Greens. If the neocons take over the Republican Party, a lot of those more right-leaning people would probably feel more at home in the Libertarian Party than they would in the Green Party. The Green Party is heavily socialist. Not 100%, but it's heavily socialist. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you for that. I do appreciate that, Phil. All right.
And then I'll put it like this because we talked about it a little bit yesterday. I got asked by a reporter from the Wall Street Journal about what I thought was going on, and I said, well, we weren't invited. They invited me back after the fact for whatever reason, and I was like, we're booked. I'm just not going to do it. And I got to be honest, I really don't want to be there. With this,
I think Tim is correct. This is the right move for Tim. Don't show up. This, for those who didn't know, TPUSA became a bloodbath. They were hammering each other left and right all over the place. I'll move a little bit further forward so we can check out some of this too.
Oh my God. I did not come here to just talk about Israel nonstop, and she gets up and leaves. The anti-Israel people framed it as though Jillian refused to criticize Israel. The real story is that Anna Kasparian brings up Israel all the time.
Israel is a huge, I never talk about Israel. I mean, unless someone asks me a question or something, I never talk about Israel. I live in New York City. Lots of Israelis here. I know Israelis. Lots of Israelis here. I never talk about Israel. Why? Because I'm trying to fix New York State. So I don't care either way. I never talk about Israel. But my God, everyone's like, oh, my car broke down. What about Israel? Okay, dude, your car broke down. I got fired. What about Israel? Dude, you got fired. And somehow, it's always somehow, and look, I'm not pro or, I'm not going down that road. I mean, I will if you want me to, it's AMA. But I don't talk about that stuff. It doesn't affect my daily life.
And Jillian's actual complaint is, I get it already. Can we talk about something else? If this is the direction they're going, it's going to be the Jews with like Candace Owens, or it's going to be suit wearing, Bush era interventionist, boring. No, like I'm not.
Yes. Now he's actually talking about, believe it or not, this is what he's talking about. This is Tim Pool. He's talking about voting Democratic. I'm not joking. He's talking about it right now. He's about to say, yeah, I look for yeah, Tim Pool. I know Mike Voss just got mad and threw his shoe at the computer, but I didn't do it, Mike. This isn't me. It's Tim Pool.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know who in the Democratic Party I'm voting for because they're insane too. But I have a potential prediction based on what we're seeing now with the MAGA Civil War, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how likely it will be, but I believe there's a decent probability a Rogan-esque Democrat emerges. I mean, like Joe Rogan-esque, who says, I don't know what's going on with the Republicans. He's going to be wearing a flannel. He's going to be like.
Already happening in 2 states. Already happening. Nebraska, Maine. Already happening. Already happening in 2 states. Nebraska and Maine. Smart, savvy Democrats are like, wait a minute. This MAGA Civil War, how do we take advantage of this? Now, most Democrats or establishment have no idea how to do it. Just, bad, orange man bad. They have zero clue how to take advantage of this. Zero clue. But a couple guys went, wait a minute. I'm thinking the same thing. Like, I'm with these guys. How do I take advantage of this? You brought up the question, Phil. How does the LP take advantage of this? I'm thinking the same thing.
Big into MMA. He's going to be a reasonable guy. He's going to be friends with comedians. And he's going to say, the Republicans are going weird on me, man, just like the Democrats used to. I'm going to try and save the Democratic Party and bring it back to normalcy. And then this person could advocate against the weird trans and the kid stuff, push out the weird far lefty cultural stuff, keep the far left.
This is literally what I told you could happen. This is Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton 3.0 is what he's talking about. Yes, look, for those of you who are alive, remember what Reagan did for the country. Reagan united the country in many ways, particularly around republicanism. A lot he did, right? And Democrats are like, now what? And then Bush was very popular. How do we handle Bush? Oh my God, the Iraq War. Oh my God, right? What do we do? And they went, Bill Clinton. Southern Democrat, taught a good old boy. Don't get me wrong, Bill Clinton was not any of those things, but he talked the right talk. He felt your pain. He could talk like a Southern boy. I mean, well done. And of course, charisma. I mean, whether you I'm not a Clinton fan, obviously, but liking or hating him, the dude still got charisma. And back then, ooze it. Then of course, those of you older remember, he goes on the Arsenio Hall show, which at the time was the cool guy late night show at the time, and puts on sunglasses and plays saxophone. I'm like, you just won. Like, you won. Done. Okay. That's how that worked. They're looking for that. This is what Tim's talking about. The Democrats are looking for whatever and what I say 3.0, because Obama was Clinton 2.0, right? Obama was Clinton 2.0. They're looking for Clinton 3.0, whoever that person is. At the moment, it's not Gavin Newsom or whatever. It's not those guys, but we'll see if they find that guy.
The economic stuff and be someone who appears reasonable to working class Americans and actually win.
Republicans are still.
Note what he said, and he's right. Appears. It will be a lie. Don't get me wrong. It will be a lie, but it will look good, and we will want to believe it as a nation. I mean, as in me or you will want to believe it, so we will.
Are still have a better approval rating than Democrats. Democrats are still in the toilet. Yeah. So, I mean, the Republicans still could make something out of this, but if they're.
Another valid point. People don't like Democrats. They're mad at Republicans, and there is a MAGA civil war, and independents are mad at Trump. Republicans in general still support Trump. Independents are walking away from him, but the independents aren't going to the Democratic Party. They're just kind of hanging out. They're like, well, now what? That's what's happening right now. Phil, thank you for the $2 again. Do Democrats qualify for the same issue problem? Yes. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. The establishment loves Israel because they all get AIPAC cash. Of course. The non-establishment doesn't. Yes, same problem. Absolutely. But they're not an open civil war. What the Democrats tend to do better than Republicans, usually, not always, they tend to do better. And it's funny, both sides think the opposite. Democrats tend to actually get in lockstep better than Republicans, usually. The exception is Trump. Trump has put the party in lockstep better than anyone since maybe Reagan. Reagan was good at it. Reagan put the party kind of in lockstep. There's always phrase, of course, but relatively, Reagan put the party kind of in lockstep. Since Reagan, Republicans have not been able to really put the party in lockstep anywhere near as well. I would say maybe Gingrich in being against something, right? He was kind of against the system. Maybe Gingrich-ish, maybe close, but not really until Trump. And now Trump, who's not doing it now, so you're seeing them much more of a civil war and fight each other. Generally speaking, Democrats tend to be more in lockstep, generally speaking. And of course, there's always exceptions, obviously. So yes, they do have the same thing. Yes.
Fighting with each other about, who's going to actually be in charge of the Republican Party, because that's the sense that I get about the AmFest stuff, right? Like the fight is now, okay, we want to keep the people that we find offensive or we find distasteful. We want to keep them out, and we want this to go back to the kind of Romney-esque normal quote unquote Republicans. But that's not what the MAGA coalition is. The MAGA coalition wasn't exclusive. It didn't kick people out. And so
he's right. But here's the issue. The MAGA coalition worked because of the iron will of Trump at the top. Right? He has not been doing that. He's been running the country or whatever he's been doing, right? Whatever. He's hanging out too much inside his little bubble. That's been his problem. They finally got him out again, which is the right thing. Again, if you are a supporter of Trump, you should want Trump out of the White House as much as possible. You should want him out with the people as much as possible. He is way better when he's out with the people and such than he is sitting inside the White House. He's terrible when he does that. Every time he does it, he begins to fail. And we see it. He needs to be out there hooping and hollering, screaming. He needs people to be afraid of him, right? He needs people to be afraid of him, that his wrath has power. That's what kept everyone together. He has not been doing that recently.
So Republicans can make something of this and capitalize on really historic low favorability for the Democrats. But if they're going to exclude people, they're going to be giving away votes.
Well, I think correct. That's a big problem. Andrew says, and about Democrats, if Republicans are having a civil war, Democrats are really fighting a heated war of attrition. True. And they tend to fight attrition. For those who know what attrition is, there's a difference between an offensive and an attrition war. Offensive is like wars of maneuver and bombing and attacking and fighting. Attrition is they kind of stand in front line and just slowly shoot each other up and eat each other up slowly, and you see one side move or shift the other. Democrats aren't doing it anywhere near as publicly. Even when Bernie and AOC are in theory, they are the guys fighting in Democratic Party. You're right. It's attrition. It's not straight up. It's not aggressively. It's none of that. So you're right. There's this attrition, not open. The MAGA side, the Republican side is out in the open, yelling at each other, out in the open, fighting. Democrats are not doing that. And Democrats, of course, have an advantage. The side that's out of power has an advantage. It has something to rail against, right? So if you're out of power, this is one of the reasons why I think Gingrich back in the 90s did a decent job keeping the Republicans together. Clinton was super popular. He was a very popular president. He dominated the 90s. He was a very popular president. Now, you may not like Clinton. Doesn't matter. He was popular. He even left. Even after his scandals, he left being popular. Clinton was popular for years afterwards. He was a very popular president. Well, how do you unite against him? Well, you do. Newt Gingrich, all the Republicans be like, we're against him. Right now, Democrats have one thing that Republicans don't have. Orange man bad. Orange man bad is a thing that Democrats have that Republicans do not have. And as silly as that is, it is a uniter. It does. So you all think something else, but you all hate Trump. So at least we got that. Republicans are in charge now. So now they want their stuff done. Well, not as easy. It's a whole lot harder. So the Democrats have an advantage in that regard that the Republicans don't have.
There's 2 points. I mean, one, I do think Vance is probably the only person in the party right now that's capable of stitching the coalition together. Yep. He's demonstrated that he is the best at framing, probably in the entire.
I don't think that's true. This guy thinks Vance is the guy.
Party.
I do not.
I was talking to Phil earlier about this. The moment that I really realized Vance is the guy, I mean,
I don't think that's true. That's his point. I disagree. I don't think Vance is the guy. But that's what they believe, and maybe he is. I could be wrong. Anyway, I'm going to show you that little piece. That's one side of it. Then the other side I wanted to bring up here. That's more of a more kind of right-leaning-ish side. This one I want to bring up is more of a left-leaning side. This is Cenk Uygur talking about it. And he believes that it's not the neocons that are going to win. He thinks it's the America Firsters who are going to win. That's what he thinks.
More fallout from TPUSA. Mark Levin on the attack. This seems like an undercard. Mark Levin versus Jack Posobiec.
See, he's bringing up all the little fighting, which is personality heavily based, right? It's heavily personality based, right? Posobiec against Mark Levin, Candace Owens against Tim Pool, right? Whatever. It's this guy against Tucker Carlson against, whatever. So it's these people.
I mean, it's not Shapiro versus Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, Shapiro versus Tucker Carlson.
No, this is not SD Special Delivery Jones losing like usual. This turns out to be, I think, in my opinion, major. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay.
And here's the point that's important. While you may say, well, Shapiro is right, or whatever, Tucker Carlson is right, or Candace is right, or Tim Pool is right. Whoever's right or wrong doesn't matter as much. As I will tell you always in politics, it doesn't matter if you have the right ideas, if you're smart or good looking. That's not the critical piece. In politics, there's 3 forms of currency: money, votes, eyeballs. Those are the 3. Money, votes, eyeballs. That's the currency. And in this battle here, a lot of these guys got eyeballs and money. Right? Shapiro's no slouch, but Tucker Carlson ain't no slouch. Candace Owens ain't no slouch. But neither is Megyn Kelly. Like, these people are not slouches. Each of them has their own set of eyeballs, their own set, of money they bring, their own votes that they can actually move. There's a lot of people. Each of those people have their own group of people who will follow them. Right? Megyn Kelly says, hey, don't vote for so-and-so. Vote for this. Don't vote for that. Vote for this. They will move some people depending upon where they are. So this is the hard part.
Okay. So apparently there's a cast of characters here. Myron Gaines comes in. He is said clearly anti-Semitic things. It's not just anti-Israel. My job is to keep it real. Your job is to react any way you like. Okay. So he apparently hurled some insults at a Jewish woman outside of TPUSA. I haven't seen the video. I don't know if that's true.
I saw just a chunk of the video, and it did I did not see context. So I don't know what the context was, but the chunk I saw, which is probably made to make him look bad, did not make him look good. That's all I'll say. The chunk I saw.
But does that track? It tracks. So I'm not here to, say, okay, denounce, cancel, whatever. Like, if he did that, that's bad. Or what is going to decide who's the winner here? So, and there is a little bit of it. This being decided on Christmas is a coincidence, but religion does play into this. Unfortunately, I don't want religion to have anything to do with this. And so now we're going to get a Christmas decision. Now, I'm going to tell you about all this and why I think it's so important and why I think it's so decisive. But first, I got to note 2 things. One is Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right, I'm going to move past this. All I'm going to do is, he talks about it too. I saw this on my feed also. And he says, again, this is his view, that the winner is going to be the America First, and that Israel First, in his view, is failing. He thinks Israel First is done. It's just going to fall apart. And that he obviously wants populism, is what Cenk wants. And Cenk says, this is it. This is now going to be the MAGA people who are America First, they're going to win. He thinks like the Marjorie Taylor Greens and those are the people he believes they are. So take that for whatever you want. All right, let me grab the comments and questions. We are in the EMA world. I'll start walking down these numbers if I can. All righty. Let's see here. Vivek says, unless Maha or fiscal hawks like Paul and Massey of the party, doesn't matter. I don't see either of those happening. But obviously, I'm a Thomas Massey fan, so I would love if Thomas Massey took over the party. Clearly, I would love that, but I don't see that happening. I can't. I mean, maybe in like a decade, from now. But now I cannot see any way of that happening. I don't see Maha taking over the party either. I don't see it. Well, most of the Maha people, and if you're a Maha person, you'll get it. This is not an insult. It's just reality. Most of the Maha people they're not the political sewer monsters that so many of the others are. And they wouldn't know how to do it, wouldn't want to do it if they could. It's not who they are. They actually want to make impact and like save families and kids, which is wonderful, but not how politics works. So I don't see Maha doing it. So yeah. Vivek goes on to say, honestly, though, I hope Maha and Physical Hawks vote Libertarian in 2026. I agree. Yes. The two-party system needs to become four. It's quite clear. I agree too. Yes, absolutely. Nosy says, the Civil War of 1800s never truly ended for some. Hope we can end that war soon. I have my doubts. This is the part that I want to bring up here. It's an interesting point. America has a habit of winning wars and losing the peace. We do it constantly. We win the war, lose the peace. Civil War was a constant thing. We lost the peace. And it's because Abraham Lincoln was killed. If Abraham Lincoln wasn't killed, we actually could have won that peace. He was exactly the right guy for the right time for that peace, and it did not happen. So, yeah. Mike says, hey, everyone, this so-called Civil War isn't a new nor all that big, but me needs to spin something to make them look functional. There's no more bickering, especially around not at all. You are incorrect, Mike. That's not true. No. There's no way this happens at TPUSA. That shit's never happened before. That's never happened before. You've never seen Israel be a center of this stuff in the past. Since maybe the 1970s, maybe? I mean, we haven't seen that, not in our adult life. That hasn't happened before. And it's everywhere. Left's talking about it. Right's talking about it. It's everywhere. I mean, you got everyone from Alex Jones to J.D. Vance involved. So as fringe as you would consume fringe to as mainstream as in the White House. No, that's no, that's not true. That's Republican propaganda. This is affecting the Republican Party. You can see it in the polls. You can see it in people wanting to vote, not vote. You can see people trying to decide what side to be on. This is far worse than it has been in the past. It's not even close. You tell me this was the same thing that was happening in 2020? No. Even 2016? No. Once Trump won the nomination in 2016, the party united. I mean, there's somebody, of course, but generally speaking, the party united. Those who weren't part of the party, they went and said, I'm going to become, whatever. What was that thing they made? No labels or whatever, or the Lincoln Project. I'm going to go become a Lincoln Project, whatever. They left. They just went and did something else. Half of those guys became Democrats, right? The neocons became neo-libs. They just walked over. But no, you have not seen this kind of fight. And even they're fighting on Fox News. Dude, that's absolutely not true. This is much bigger deal than it has been in the past. And much bigger. Goes on to say, like Fuentes, Owens is being used by me to push the MAGA evil message. I'm not sure that's true. I don't think either one of them is saying MAGA evil. I mean, I'm trying to think of what I've seen. Fuentes no longer likes Trump. He thinks Trump doesn't go far enough. He thinks Trump has sold out. That's what he believes. And that part is common. That aspect is common. Most people, not most, almost always when your side, whatever your side is, wins, you go, oh, they sold out. They didn't do whatever I wanted them to do. That's a common thing. I agree. And I think Fuentes is like, well, I wanted Trump to do more. Why isn't he throwing more Mexicans out or whatever is Fuentes' issue? I think that part's true. I don't think he's saying it's evil, though. I don't think Owens is saying that either. Owens is saying that Israel controls the country. That's what Owens is saying. And Fuentes is saying Trump must go far enough. Neither one of those is MAGA evil. I don't think that's true at all. They both of them were civil Republican. They probably were both civil. They might not vote for Trump. I mean, well, Candace might. Fuentes wouldn't. But they'd vote for like whatever guy, J.D. Vance or whomever is their guy. Right? They might do that. I mean, Fuentes obviously wouldn't vote for Vivek. But yes. Similar with Tucker, but in the scheme of things, less impactful than Omar, but the same as Crockett or delusion of not at all. Omar, Crockett, and AOC are making nowhere near the battle or fight in the Democratic Party than the equivalent here in the Republican Party. No way. Not true. Clearly, obviously not true. No way. Tom says, at least the right can have a debate. The left demands. Thank you, Tom. See, Mike, so I'm talking about. True. Generally speaking, there are exceptions, obviously, but generally speaking, the left keeps you together far more. The left just covers you up and shuts you down. The right, you'll fight. Right? We're right, we'll fight more. It's true. Even though they have their own civil wars, I think the idea of attrition is a good analogy. I think that's true. It's a good analogy. Looking over at Rumble, JJ says, I just got reminded of Sagar's take on the 2020 election regarding Ben Shapiro being the wrong demo to appeal that led to Trump's loss. Agreed. The people who watch Ben Shapiro and who follow him are the wrong demographic. I agree. You want more of the youth. I think Sagar was correct in that. You want more of the youth. But that's the Tim Pools of the world. Even the Rogans. Rogan's audience is getting older, but even it's still younger. I agree. The Rogans of the world, Tim Pools, well, I think that's true. Ben Shapiro is a lot of older people who are going to watch him. I agree. I think that's true. So, all right, covered that piece. Let me keep going if I can. All righty. Mike says, when these people change midterms, no. Change foreign policy, no. All the tariffs, no. Even the EFA's going out like promised, though, with delays and a ton of yes, dude. Yes. I don't know what you're looking at. Yes. Everything you just said, yes. Correct. If you find people, if this happens with people like Tim Pool are saying, and he just floated, so who knows how far this will go, right? Who knows how far it will go? If guys like Tim Pool and others keep saying stuff like, I don't know if I'm going to vote for the Republicans, if that stays, that will affect an election. Even if it affects 2%. There's a whole lot of districts in this country at 2%, that's your election. Will it change foreign policy? Yes, it will. 100%. If this nation believes, now I'm saying if this nation believes that Israel's controlling America, whatever, right? I don't think America believes that now. If it does, yes, it will change foreign policy because you won't get elected, you get primaried. So yes, it will. Absolutely. All the tariffs? Yes. 100%. If things start going poorly and they blame Trump tariffs, and then the Supreme Court says, you can't do these tariffs, those tariffs are gone. November 2026, if the Democratic Party wins the Congress, and they might because of shit just like this, come January, all his tariffs are gone. All of them. So yes, I don't know. Your no's, everyone's a yes. Of course. If again, there's ifs involved, right? I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I'm not guaranteeing. But of course, to make light of this, if you're a Trump supporter and you're in Trump's cabinet and you're ignoring this, you are ignoring it at your peril. If I was advising Trump, obviously I'm not, he doesn't care what I think. But if I was advising Trump, I'd be like, Trump, stop worrying about Ukraine and all that garbage. You can't fix that shit. You've been trying forever. Walk away from that shit and come fix your house. Your house is a mess. You worry about somebody else's front lawn. Your house is a mess. Trump, put your house in order. That would be my advice. He's not listening to me if he was. Get your house in order. Get in the phone. Talk to all these people and say, what are you doing? Get your ass back in line. Here's the plan. Here's what we're doing. I'm Trump. Remember? Let's get busy. He's not doing that. He's worried about what you said. Whatever. Foreign policy, tariffs. You're going to lose your entire presidency over this. You think I'm joking? You think I'm joking all the time? I warned of this last year, and all the shit I said last year is coming to pass. You cannot put this coalition together. Excuse me. You can't put this coalition together and not have an iron fist. It doesn't work. You have to have an iron fist or don't put this together. Now, again, I give him total credit. Trump put it together. Well done, Trump. Nicely done. But you got to stay on these people. They're all high core personalities. They're all alphas. And if you don't out-alpha all these alphas, and again, if anyone could, it's Trump. If anyone could out-alpha the alphas, it's him. If anyone could do it. He's not doing it. So I think you're totally wrong on this one, Mike. I don't think you're going to find. You're going to see. We don't know now. You're going to see within 6 months. I'm going to be right. You're like, damn, I was right. Watch 6 months from now. I'm going to be right. 99 I disagree, Mike. For this is a generational issue. Also true. Maybe not big among old folks, but on young people, he's big. I do think he's a Christian nationalist pushing himself an Arab. I think yes to both of those. I think yes to both of those. Yep. 99 says, thing is, with also midterms, perhaps massive being primary right now, to me, it looks like America versus having to create a single issue, stop saying on Israel. Yes, and I think that's going to be an issue. We'll find out how that works. If Israel stays a big issue for the next, say, 6 or 8 months, yes. I don't know if it will, right? Are they going to find something else to pop out? Are they going to be able to change the narrative? Is that possible? If they change, and look, it's still 10 months before next election, 11 months. So who knows? But if they're able to keep this narrative, America first, why we supporting Israel, if they keep that narrative, and look, if I'm the Democrats, I'd keep it. It's tearing up Republicans. I wouldn't get rid of it. I'd have my little attrition war, and the Democrats would just shut up about it, keep their mouth shut to make sure the Republicans get torn up and that they win. And again, Republicans love AIPAC as much as Democrats do. They both love AIPAC. It doesn't really matter, right? They both love it. So they're going to get cash. So can the Democrats convince AIPAC just be quiet? Let's let the Republicans fall. We'll take over and we'll take your money. We'll be fine. Can they do that? Then it will affect. I think that's the case. So yes. All right. Mike goes on to say, oh, you guys go back and forth. Fuentes exists since 2018 in the shadows, unless major media needs to devil justify fear mongering. He has an audience relatively small among you. I don't know what you're talking about, Mike. None of that's true. None of that's true. Mine said right. He exploded in the power vacuum. Yes, accurate. Yes, nothing you said is true. None of that's true. Yes, he's still the guy's still popular. We're talking about him. I wish about me as much as him. Yes, absolutely. So. Alrighty. You guys going back? I'll let you guys go back and forth. I'll leave it around. So, alrighty. Christopher says, from my perspective, Trump's actually doing great for the nation, and it's great he's being questioned / challenged on for a number of reasons. Most importantly, to ensure he does is legal. I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound weird, Christopher. Whether he's doing well or not, his coalition is key. His coalition is what gives him his mandate. Without his coalition, he will lose his mandate. And I'm not making this up. That's just how it works. If he doesn't retain his coalition, he loses his mandate. And that's why I'm saying, if I was advising Trump, I'm not. But if he came to me and said, hey, Larry, I want your help, this is what I'd tell him. Clean your house. Your house is a mess. Stop worrying about someone's front yard. Don't worry about it. Stop worrying about it. Get someone else. Send someone else out there. Send Rubio to clean the front yard. You got to clean your house. Send Rubio out, whatever. Send Thune out. Send whoever out. Let them go clean the yards to somebody else. You need to get your ass back in your house and clean your house. And if you don't think that's true, you're going to watch. You are going to watch me be right. I know how organizations work. I know how these politicians think and how they work. If he doesn't clean this house, because what's going to wind up happening, here's how it works. Those of you who don't know, the reason why I know this is a real big deal, and I don't think Mike's getting this piece. I think Mike's missing a critical piece. Now, look, maybe I'm wrong. When Mike is right, I will come back and I'll say Mike's right. I've done it before. I think he's wrong on this one. What I don't think he's seeing is when people think that the empire is beginning to crumble, and it looks like Trump's empire is beginning to crumble. Now, Mike will go, whoa, it's the media. I don't care if it's the media. It's irrelevant. The reason's irrelevant. If it looks like that, that's when the grifters jump in and say, let me grift as much as I can while the grifting's good. Let me get while the getting's good. And they all start doing that. And they all start tearing everything apart. And when that happens, you got to be the man to step in and go, oh, no, that's my house. Get out of my house. I'm going to fix things now, or you're going to you're going to see yourself out on the street. He's not doing that. I don't think Mike is seeing that. And I get where you're coming from, Christopher. I do. A lot of people, most Republicans still like Trump, right? A lot of Democrats obviously hate him. He's losing independence. And that's because his coalition isn't working anymore. So if you're a Republican, you're probably happy with what Trump's doing. I get it. Most Republicans do. But that's not enough for him to keep his coalition, nor is it enough for him to keep his mandate. So, yeah. And most people look at him going, none of that stuff you're doing is legal. It's not legal. Oh, my God, it's not legal. A lot of people saying that. If you don't like him, if you like him, you think it's fine. Look, bombing boats, the Venezuelan boats, utterly illegal. Not even close to legal. Nigerian, utterly illegal. Now, if I'm a Republican, when I say, yes, it's legal because blah, 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 whatever stuff that Republicans say, it's fine. It's not true. But they say it because they like him and they think he's right. He's wrong. Does it matter? Only if he has a coalition. This is politics. In politics, 3 things: eyeballs, votes, money. Law, that's secondary. That's tertiary. That's not important. That don't matter. 3 things I said matter. So if he has a mandate with his coalition, he can do it. He can bomb whatever he wants to bomb because he's got a mandate and a coalition. He loses that. Why is he doing tariffs? His tariffs utterly illegal. 100%. Tariffs are done by Congress. We know this is true. But when he put him in, he had a mandate. He had a coalition. He could do it. He's losing that now. If he loses that mandate, that coalition, all those tariffs are gone. All the ICE stuff, gone. You think Democrats going to let ICE happen in 2027? You going to let that happen? Gone. So if you like him that much, I hope you do. I hope you're happy. Awesome. Good for you. You better tell him or his people he better put his coalition together and keep his mandate, or by 2027, it's all gone. He's a lame duck president. And if that happens, the country's going to be in trouble. Let me tell you why. Democrats will love it. Yay, we beat the orange man up. But here's the problem. He will become desperate. And desperate people do desperate things. The last thing I want is Trump being desperate. I don't want that. Mark my words, guys. Mark my words. This will come to pass. It always does. It always does. So, all righty. Lunatic is in the house. There we go. All right. Michael's going to say, I think every president should be questioned on their policy and its consequences, but Trump isn't challenged on that. Rather than orange man bad in existence, that's unfair. No, I think you're right. I think Trump is bad because he's bad. You're right. That's just because Trump. So by default, bad. That's true. I do agree. So, all righty. Grab some more of these if I can. All right. Nine goes on to say, it's not just left wing either. He's absolutely speaking to the anti-foreign aid right. Also true. All right. Doc says, Larry, what's your take on what's going on in the metals market? People are afraid. That's what it is, Doc. People are afraid. People know what I think I know, which is next year is going to be a terrible year. I wish it wasn't. I wish I had won the governorship in 2018 because I would have fixed this. Larry, you're magical? Yes, I'm fucking magical. I would have fixed it. I saw all this coming. I talked about all this stuff in 2018. All of it. Talk about in 2018. Yes, I talked about all this stuff. The failings, the problems, the issues. I talked about us being able to fix our education system, all this stuff. New York State would have been ready for it, and the rest of the country would have watched it. But nope. We're going to vote left-right paradigm because whatever, Trump's bad or whatever. And here we are. And next year is going to be a goddamn disaster. Why? Because jobs aren't coming back. That's the reason. Because jobs aren't coming back. And because jobs aren't coming back, people are going to have to get money from someplace. Where's the money going to come from? Government. Well, government don't have any money either. Everyone's buying metals because they're scared. They don't know. Is the dollar going to crash? Is it not going to crash? Is Bitcoin the answer? Is it not the answer? I don't know. They want to buy metals. And not just that. Again, beginning with Biden, sadly continuing with Trump because he can't end this damn wars. But beginning with Biden, again, I give Biden a massive problem on this, but Trump should have fixed this already. But it's utterly started with Biden. The idea of weaponizing the dollar more than anybody's ever. I talked about it last night. No president before Biden weaponized the dollar like Biden did. Again, all presidents will do this, a little that, here or there. And most of the world was like, okay, yeah, all right. America's flexing a bit. Let them flex, whatever. Most people are like, fine, let them flex here or there. It's fine. But then Biden said, no. We weaponizing the dollar, weaponizing the SWIFT system. And Trump, I know he's trying to, but he's doing a bad job of ending this. He should have changed completely. He should have backed off totally. I said this up front, and people got mad at me when I said it. I said they should have gone to Putin and said, Putin, we will reverse everything, all of it. No sanctions, take all your money back, join SWIFT, all of it gone, done. Back to what it was, 1992, going back. Stop this war. Go back to everything. Take all the money back. Take all your money back. Everything. All your oligarchs get the cash back, and you could be the champ who gave them all the money back. You could be the champ. Stop the war. That's how I would have tried to stop it in day one. And I said this, just give them everything back. You can't reward Putin for blah, 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 blah. Laws don't matter in the international world. I wish they did. Of course his invasion was illegal. And so what? I know it sounds terrible. I'm being realistic. I would rather not. How many hundreds of thousands of people have died, if not millions? I don't know. We're not going to know for years how many people have died in this war. Hundreds of thousands for sure, maybe millions. If you count wounded, surely over 1 million casualties. Surely over 1 million. I mean, I don't know how many millions, but who knows? I don't know. Sake of argument, 500,000 dead. I made the number up. Who cares? A lot. I would have said, take everything back. Don't stop killing people. Stop killing people. Yes, I'm a bleeding heart, whatever. I don't care. I would like hundreds of thousands of people to not be dead, hundreds of thousands of families to be destroyed, hundreds of thousands of houses and families and histories wrecked and bombed and killed and arms blown off and legs blown off and PTSD. I'd like none of that. So give Putin what he wants to move on. Move on. You're an appeaser. No, I understand how the world works. Putin's never going to pay reparations, ever. It's a fantasy. Why? He's a nuclear power. He's never paying it, ever. Get that shit out of your head. Never going to happen. Never. And Trump's never going to pay for bombing Nigeria. He's never going to pay for bombing the Venezuelans. He's never going to pay for that. Get that shit out of your head. That's not how it works. And people know that. And they're afraid. And they're angry. And they know what's going to happen. They buy medals. They buy medals. That's why. So, yes. That's just the griftosphere. It is. It totally is. Yes. Yes. Doc asks, will metal market stall the AI boom? No. Not at all. No. They will not. AI is moving forward as fast as it possibly can. For sure. Remember, because AI can control markets. AI can control markets. So, yeah. That's why I will. I hope I answered your question. All right, I'll keep moving on. I'm behind. I'm trying to catch up, guys. I'm trying to catch up if I can. I'm doing my best to catch up. Hold on here. Let me get rid of that. And let me pop this up here so I have that available. All right. That works. Perfect. All right. Let me see if I can grab these here. Phil says, Trump's trying to corral all these people. Rawhide. He has to. That's his job. You put it together, you got to keep it. And I've been saying it forever. Right? Have to be used. So, all righty. Let's see here. Let me walk down this road and just hope the neocons lose. They might, but remember, neocons are powerful. They've been around for a long time. They really have been since Reagan. They've been very powerful since Reagan. Maybe kind of since Nixon-ish, but really since Reagan. And you don't just get rid of them. This was this I mentioned. If you remember, Andrew, I mentioned it when Trump came in. People were getting mad because Trump was having neocons in his cabinet, and I was very forward. I wasn't mad at Trump for that. I'm like, he has to. Neocons are still powerful in the Republican Party. You can't just walk in and go, I'm changing everything. Everybody get out. That's not how that works. So he had to give something up, and he gave Rubio, and they were like, okay, we're in. So yes. All righty. D says, what's Larry's opinion on Trump's truth post on Christmas Day jabbing at Massey? I don't know what that is. As usual, Trump keeps his mouth shut. Then opens his mouth when Massey allowed donation over. Yeah. No, look, I'll tell you what I think about it in general. Fighting Massey is dumb. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. But the problem is, for most people, they can't stop. Now, look, here is the advantage Trump has. I'm going to give you this, D. Trump is doing what he does often. He rolls the dice. He gambles. He does. That's kind of his thing. He does roll the dice. So if he is able to actually beat Massey, he's champion, right? He solidifies. I have the coattails. I can beat anyone. Get back in line. I understand that. I just think Massey's the wrong place to fight. I would argue Massey's a bridge too far. Again, if I was advising Trump, I'm not. I'd be like, leave Massey alone. Let him go. You're just making him stronger, which is what he's doing. Massey's more popular than ever. He's getting more donations than ever. And now now Massey's doubling down on the E-files, right? And he's got Ro Khanna on his side. He got Democrat on his side now. And now Ro Khanna's more popular than ever. Ro Khanna has Republicans going, I like this guy. Ro Khanna wants Medicare for all. And he has Republicans saying, I like this guy. And he wants Medicare for all. So I think it's a big gamble. I think it's one Trump's going to lose. If I was advising, I'd be like, don't gamble here. Again, get back in your house and clean your house. That is what I'd be telling Trump right now. I think it's a terrible idea. I think he's going to lose that battle. I think Max is going to win. It's going to make him look bad. That's what I think. So, yes. Clifford says, does neocon equal establishment? 100% yes. 100% yes. Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. 100% establishment. Yes. Neocons do not know any war they don't like. They love all the wars. They love all the wars. Absolutely. So HVAC Soldier says the Trump wing has control of the Republican Party until about 2040. I'm not sure that's true because what's the Trump wing? See, if you notice something, this is how I know Trump can still fix this. This is how I know Trump can still fix this. Of all the people who are fighting this war, I bring this up, this is very similar to China. The Chinese people have a hero. If I remember his name, it's Sun Yat-sen. If I think I have that right. He's a Chinese hero. Whatever faction is fighting in China, whether they're communist or whether they're not communist, whether they're more capitalist, even when it was Chiang Kai-shek and he was in theory, Democrats. I mean, he wasn't, but in theory, Democrats. They all thought Sun Yat-sen was still their hero. That's the guy we all trying to be. We're to be like Sun Yat-sen no matter what, right? That's kind of them. Trump is kind of that right now in the war, with the exception of Fuentes. If you notice, Fuentes is the only one who attacks Trump. Everyone else says whatever, but Trump's fine. Whatever, but I'm mad at whatever. I'm mad at Candace Owens, or I'm mad at Tim Pool, or whoever they're mad at, right? Oh, Mark Levin's bad, or whatever. But Trump's fine. Trump's fine. So I don't know what the Trump wing is. All of the wings are Trump. That makes any sense, right? Right now, all the wings are Trump. Even Rubio's a Trump fan now. So even neocons like Trump now. So neocons don't attack Trump. No one attacks Trump. So I don't know what Trump wing is. All of the wings, except for Fuentes, are Trump wing. The Trump wing. That means, will the young people not like Trump? Maybe. Because it is generational. Is Fuentes going to get the young Republicans not like Trump anymore? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's a possibility. So I don't know what that Trump wing means. This is my point. Since they still will not attack Trump, except Fuentes, why isn't Trump taking his iron fist and cleaning his house? It means he still matters. If they all start going, if it happens, and it could happen, if they honestly feel that Trump is collapsing, they don't feel that yet. They feel he's cracking for sure. They don't feel he's collapsing yet. If they come to a point where they think he's collapsing, you'll know because they'll start attacking Trump. Now, there's a little bit of a push for that already. If you notice, what was the push? Saying J.D. Vance is the man. That was the push. Ooh, can we get away with that? Can we do that? And they did. And they did. Trump did not. Trump has not assigned an heir apparent. There is no heir apparent. They're making it. Now, why do they care about the heir apparent? Why? Because some people think Trump is done. I'm not sure he is. I am not saying he is. What I'm saying is some people believe he is. That's clear. But they're not sure how bad it is. So they're testing the waters. This is a common thing. Is the leader still the leader? Are we going to test him or not? Can he come back or not? And the problem is Trump is outside doing other stuff. He's not fixing his own house. Right? Sometimes you got to come back in your house, smack somebody around. I don't mean that physically, but I don't mean physically. But let them know who the boss is. If you have that kind of environment. Remember, this is the mob. This is the mafia. This is the mafia. This is the mob. So Trump got to come in, smack some of his capos around, and say, you forget who the boss is? Did you forget who the boss is? I'm going to have to show you. He's not doing that. He's out there trying to build out some more stuff. So I hear what you're saying, but I'm not sure how that's going. D says, what's Larry's opinion about Trump and his latest intervention in Nigeria? Utterly useless and stupid distraction. Distraction. Total distraction means nothing. So, yeah. Rick Pa says, here for a few before Dungeons and Dragons online with my dungeon buddies. Nice. I'm a little bit jealous. Yeah, a little bit jealous. So, all righty. Let's see here. Paula says, what are we doing in Nigeria? Why are we involved? Because someone told Trump that Christians are being hammered, so he bombed bandits. I'm not joking. He bombed bandits. He didn't bomb like the Boko Haram people. He didn't bomb them. He bombed bandits. Because, see, if you're Trump, if anyone in the Trump campaign is listening to me, stop worrying about outside stuff. Go clean your room. No one cares about it. You're just making more people angry. You're giving more anti-war people more. You're throwing more independence away from you. You're making more independents not like you. You bomb in Venezuela. You bomb in Nigeria. Meanwhile, you said no new wars. You still haven't stopped the Gaza. You still haven't stopped Ukraine. You said you would. This is the wrong answer. Yes. Andrea says, I was on X today. Israel's all anyone's supposed to be. I know. Mike thinks it's not a big deal. Mike's wrong. This is a big deal. I wouldn't be talking about it if it wasn't. Look, it's making me think, do I want to step into the fray in some way? I'm serious. You guys don't run for governor now. I'm thinking, should I start walking in on this? This is a big deal. Phil says, this is why we need to get the best libertarian in the country on his show. And if Spike isn't available, you should Larry. I agree. You should get Larry on. Yes. Yes. And by the way, the best libertarian in the country is me. But Spike's awesome. So yes. All right. Andrew says, I'm going to jump in with a quick no. It's not that big of a thing. These Republicans there's Republicans that still stick with Trump on tariffs, deportation, and the rest of the issues. But many of those turn out. Hold on, I have another one coming up here. Oh, Vance is no Trump, by the way. Yeah, I agree. People do think that. Yes, people do think that. Your mayor says Larry's for governor. Thank you. Yes. All righty. Dan DeRocco says Larry should seriously consider running the Republican primary. At least talk to the party elders and feel out the vibe. Just runs independent. This is making me think this. It's true. I am considering it. And I wasn't in the past. In the past, I was thought, I was at two things. One, why bother? I run as a Republican, I lose. I run as a Libertarian, lose. I'd rather lose a Libertarian. At least as I run as a Libertarian, I'm able to gain ballot access. I'm able to move my message forward. I'm not beholden to the Republican establishment. I just run as a Libertarian and whatever. And if I have a chance at winning, we'll do. Republican can't win. If I get insanely lucky, I could win. But things changed this year. And it changed because of matching funds. For those of you who don't know, matching funds in New York State is if I'm able to raise $500,000 from 5,000 New Yorkers, New York State will give me 6 to 1. They will give me literally $3 million. Just $3 million. Thinking that made me rethink, maybe I can actually win this thing. Maybe this is a winnable race. Maybe it isn't just for ballot access. Maybe it's for a win. So now I'm thinking about, I can win this thing now. With $3 million, I can win. That becomes one, because with that $3 million, I'll raise more, so and so. But the other issue is, you just brought it up. Running in the Republican primary, even though I'd run independent, I'd still run Libertarian, I'd still run with the people. I would still do that. But running as a Republican primary raises the money issue to where I get matching funds a whole lot faster. If I get matching funds by February, March, something like that, much earlier, I'm going to change the entire game. It allows me to have the Libertarian line, the people line, the Republican line, and the conservative line, all 4 lines at the same time. Having all 4 lines, I mean, I'm not as governor of New York. First off, there's no way that Blakeman could actually beat me in the primary. I'll say that publicly. It's no way. He's not a real candidate. He's clearly a placeholder. Like all of them are. He's clearly a sacrificial lamb. He doesn't want to run this thing. He's not going to campaign or anything. He doesn't have any policy. He does nothing. He's just going to show up, get his 40%, and go, oh, I tried, and go back to Nassau County. This is his last hoorah before he retires. He's 70-some odd years old. So, yeah, I get that. I run against him. I beat him. Again, Republican line, independent line, kind of Libertarian line, conservative line, and Read People line. So now I have 4 lines. It's a two-way race. Me against Kathy Hochul. Me against Kathy Hochul. The second that the country would see me against Kathy Hochul, they'd be like, damn, Kathy could lose. The money would just pour in. The race would be a $50 million race. I'm not joking, because as I raise, she'd raise. As she raised, I'd raise. You would watch the race be insane, right? Each of us would probably raise $50 million. I'm not even joking. That probably would happen. Just the money would just be explosive, be insane how much money would be raised. It would go crazy. And then we'd debate, and I would sweep the floor with her. She would walk away crying. If she walked away skulking, she'd skulk away crying. So yes, I am considering it because I'm thinking, I do this. This is a winnable race. I'm the next governor of New York. And imagine, if you would, the mayor of New York is a socialist and the governor of New York is a libertarian. The entire country changes overnight. So yeah, I am considering it, Dan. I am. I wasn't before. I wasn't. But now I am considering it. Particularly with Stefanik walking away, which just proves it was never real, right? The Republicans running in this were never real. That was never a real thing. It still isn't a real thing. I'm trying to make this real. So maybe. Thank you for that. Nick says, Israel is the most important issue to me. And not because I care about Israel or any of the foreign nation. I care about America. True. Too many politicians are Israel first. I prioritize electing people who care about America and what's their best interest. I'm with you. I'm not anti-Israel. How about we take care of ourselves? I'm sitting here saying, Trump, fix your own house. I'd like to fix my own house too. I'm with you on that. Yes. So, all righty. Let's see here. Doc says it will take 5 to 7 years to ramp up metals production to current demand. This is not a drill. It's emergency. Agreed. No, agreed. We have to do a whole lot, but we can, right? Money makes a lot of stuff happen. And this is why people say, well, Larry, we have a lot of these rare earths and metals in America. True. That's an accurate statement. But to your point, Doc, it'll take 10 years in America. It'll take 10 months in Africa. Now, you might say, well, Larry, that's cruel because they have no rules and regulations. True. Yes. And the Chinese and Russians don't care about warlords and stuff. We do. That's why we can't get them. The Russians walk in and go, we'd like your minerals. And they go, yeah, we're going to have to pay some warlords off. They go, okay, how much? Done. Well, these guys, they're kind of cruel. And Russians go, okay, and what's the problem? How much? The Chinese go, oh, they're cruel? Good. Okay, can we put our railroads in? Well, yeah, but you have to bribe them. Great. How much? Done. That's how it works. They just ask how much. And that's why they get it faster. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that's how it works. Kay John says, it really pisses me off that after all these years and all these cycles in both parties, that people are still not ready to dump both parties. I mean, effing wake up already. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. You can get back on whenever you like. So yes, absolutely. Yes. So, Massman says, Israel does affect your life. Their main ally is ignorance. Well, if that's true, then we'll see it soon, right? I'm not sure that's true, but say I'm wrong and it does affect me in life. Well, boy, everyone's on my Israel now. So if you are correct, we're going to find out real soon, aren't we? That's what I would say. I'm not saying you're wrong. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I should care. I'm not saying you're wrong, but if it is true, if you're right, we're going to find out real soon. So yes. All righty. If I grab some more of these, I'm trying to catch up, guys. I know I'm behind. I'm trying to catch up. All righty. Andrew goes on. It's more than APAC cash, although yes, it's mostly highly campaign cash. It is a lot of cash. People doing a lot because of money. It's a common thing. Yes. John says, Phil Labonte is the only good thing about Tim Pool. Phil being a libertarian. I like Phil too. For those, I've been on Tim's show twice. Yeah, I enjoy the show. I should probably go back on. I should probably go back on. I'll bug him. Yeah, I'll see if I can. So, all righty. Grab some more of these. All right. Paula says, Trump went too neocon for me. This is my point, Paula. When he stays in D.C., in the White House, he's surrounded by the swamp. He becomes swampier. That happens every time. So whoever said, get him out there, right, was the right move. He should be out. He should be out as much as possible. The more he stays in, the swampier he gets. That's why he needs to be out as much as possible. Get him on a campaign show again. Get him out doing stuff. Yes, I completely agree with you. She also says a blue dog type Democrat would kill Gavin Newsom's aspirations. You are correct. Yes. If the Democrats do find their Bill Clinton 3.0, that person will beat Newsom. just like Obama beat Hillary Clinton. Yes. If they don't find it, Newsom is the clear front runner. But if they find their their Clinton 3.0, that person will beat Newsom. You're correct. That's right. So yes. All righty. Where am I here? John goes to you. He says Trump's problem is that he's surrounding himself with never Trump or neocons. Excuse me. Where was that token libertarian promise to a point if he won? Sadly, the token libertarian was RFK Jr., who is officially a lifetime member of the Libertarian Party. However, look, I like RFK Jr. I wanted him to make an impact. I'm happy he's where he is. I'm not mad where he is at all. I'm just being forward. He's not libertarian. I've never said he was. He's not libertarian. Now, is he officially a libertarian? He is. Officially, he's a lifetime member. That is true. But is he really? I think we know it's not true. So, yes. So, by the way, Monsieur Z did a video on this earlier today, and I'm very happy Hilarious make a live stream on this. Oh, good. All right. Yes. All right. I'll keep trying to get questions. I know I'm behind. I'm trying to catch up, guys. You guys are putting lots of out there, and I appreciate it. But yes. HVAC says the base of both parties don't care about the middle. That is true because they are righteous. Yes. See, Paula gets it. Trump's a genius with TV. He needs to get out to the rallies and use it. Yes. I've been saying it forever, and I keep saying it. The more he spends around the establishment, the less effective he is. He needs to be out. He needs to be out doing stuff. That's where he wins. Right? That's where he's better. That's where he's stronger. Yes. Rick Bus says Trump will gladly keep and enhance Obamacare if he could rebrand it with his name. Trump has no values other than himself. I think he'd have to change it, right? Keep it enhanced. Yes, I think you're right. If he could make it Trump care or whatever, I think you're right. I think he would. I don't think he knows what the actual answer is, right? He doesn't get the actual answer to healthcare is community-owned healthcare. That's the actual answer. It is localized, community-owned healthcare. That's the actual answer. But he doesn't know that. People around him would never tell him that. Why? Because they're all establishment. The establishment wants to keep this griftopia going, so they would never tell him that. Absolutely. Macy says, take the free quiz at the Advocates for Self-Government, a sponsor of the show. True. It's free, fast, and a fun way of exploring where you stand politically. If you're saying to yourself, Larry, I don't know where I stand politically, I'm unsure. Should I be an America Firster? Should I be a MAGA guy? Should I be a whatever guy? I have an idea. Head on over to what she said. Click the link that is actually in the description on both YouTube and also on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. Click that specific link and head over to the Advocates for Self-Government and take the World's Smallest Political Quiz, the 2025 version, the coolest of all the versions. Yes, we do change them every once in a while because things do change. And click it. See what you think. Personal issues. Adults should be free to access books, films, or games without government censorship. Do you agree? Maybe. Disagree. Whichever one. Click whichever one you want. And move on. Adults should be free to use drugs or engage in sex work without criminal punishment. Do you agree? Maybe. Disagree. Whatever you think. Police should need a warrant before searching your phone, emails, or home. Agree? Maybe. Disagree. Hate groups and extremist organizations should be allowed to peacefully gather and organize. Agree? Maybe. Disagree. Medical treatment should be available to consenting adults without legal barriers. Agree? Maybe. Disagree. Now, each one of those questions I just gave you, you could be thinking, but what about, but what if, and that's the point. That's the point. The world's smallest political quiz gets you talking, thinking, going back and forth. That is the glory of this test. That's the glory of the world's smallest political quiz. Take this if you can. When you're done, after you're done, go through all of them, calculate your results, and then share it. Share it with others. Use that same link that I talked about so that other people can see it. It's free. It helps us out. They're a sponsor. I've been using this for years. Help me out. Click that link, the Advocates for Self-Government. Thank you, Missy. You are the best. I'm now looking over at Rumble. Alexa says, neither Fuentes nor Owens push MAGA evil. I agree. I don't think they do. I don't think they push it at all. They just don't agree and have been demonized to hell for it. They just don't think America First is putting America first, and they are clear on why. I think, Alexa, you're totally correct. I agree with you. I think that Fuentes, though, has said he's openly now anti-Trump. Owens is not. Or at least now she isn't. She may see, oh my God, I can beat up on Trump. She might turn, who knows? But at the moment, she's not. I think Alexis is correct. Thank you for that. So, all righty. Let's see here. 99 says Vance is a shill. Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? All righty. Let's see here. D says, I was able to afford healthcare, monthly payments, and deductible before the grubby government got their hands involved. Both sides keep it around. Yes. True. Much better. All righty. Let's see here. Rick Pa says, the establishment Republicans are trying to rebrand America First as Nick Fuentes and nothing else. They also call America First people as woke right, despite being quintessentially cancel culture. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. That battle, they are attacking each other. In this civil war, you're finding the Republicans or the right side, however you want to call that, the MAGA side, whatever you want to call it. You will find them absolutely do the cancel culture, do the woke right stuff. They're going back and forth. I completely agree. You are seeing them do that. It's true. So John says, Shapiro may still have followers in numbers, but the rest of the neocon class are losing true influence among regular people. Republicans under 45 aren't watching Fox News. It's true. That part's true. And for that reason, the Republican Party should fear a guy like Fuentes. For that reason, a guy like Fuentes can move the youth. He has. You have a whole lot of unhappy young men. They're all over the place. In the millions. Unhappy young men will follow a guy like Fuentes. You see it. They will. I mean, if he tells them, vote this, vote that, do this, do that, I think you will find young men more open to doing that. I think you will. So, all righty. John goes on to say, if Massey happens to be the majority leader one day, would the rest of the Republicans align themselves to be more liberal-leaning? Yes, if that ever happened. I mean, I don't know how that happens, but yes, the leader controls almost everything. Right? Almost everything. So yes, that would happen if he ever did. I don't know how. I don't see that happening, but if he did, yeah. Phil says, don't take offense, but you're not a sewer monster. Larry Sharpe. It's true. A lot of the Maha people, they're not operators. That's who they are. They're not operators. They don't know how to move this. Yes. So yes. Nate says, are Dems just as divided over Israel, or are they divided over anything right now? They are, however, as I mentioned, they have that uniter, Orange Man Bad, right? They have Orange Man Bad, which Republicans don't have, right? If I don't know, AOC wins, then they'll have AOC Bad, whatever. Like they'll have, that if that ever happens. But right now they don't have that. So yes. 99 says, thank you, Larry. I've been having this conversation down here this whole time with him. I appreciate that. There we go. All right. Phil says the fighting used to be behind closed doors if that happened. Yes. However, there's a difference. Often the fighting will be behind closed doors. And then right after that, they'd all come out like everything's fine. Right? They come out like everything is fine. So yeah. Now they're screaming and yelling. Roger, thank you for the $5. Larry, I told you about the Civil War on your radio show a month ago when a certain caller was so focused on what the left is doing. Yeah. The issue is I was thinking more like Mike. I was thinking more like, they're just fighting each other. It's the same old thing, right? But this has been going on a whole lot longer than just a month, and it's just getting stronger, and there's more personalities involved, and more importantly, Trump is not quelling it. So it is now a big deal. I mean, it might have been a big deal before, Roger, but I didn't see it as a big deal before. Now I see it as a big deal. I saw it as, I was more in the Mike camp. I was like, it's whatever, it's not a big deal. It's a big deal. And you're going to see it. There's a chance that this is what trashes 2026 worse than anything else. If the Republicans cannot unite by summer, I'm making that up in that area. If Republicans cannot unite by then, 2026 is finished. They're going to be devastated because Democrats will unite around the one thing they all have, which is Orange Man Bad. They still have Orange Man Bad. Republicans don't have that, right? Democrats do. They will unite around Orange Man Bad, and they will come in together, raising money, the whole deal. And you will find what you'll find is when people are worried and concerned, they want stability more than anything. So all those independents who are kind of up in the air, Democrats have already stopped talking about the trans and the baby, whatever, that stuff. They don't know about that stuff anymore. Republicans do. because they won't let people forget Democrats used to. But Democrats don't talk about that anymore. Don't say it anymore. They stop. Republicans will always remind people that Democrats said it, but Democrats, they stopped that. They learned a lesson. They don't talk about that anymore. They stopped. They're talking about things like whatever, more money to people, that kind of stuff, right? Mamdani taught them that already. Mamdani taught them that lesson. So they know. They stopped. So if they don't do that and seem to be more lockstep, which they will to the outsider seem that way, because they have United against Orange Man Bad, the Republican Party seems like it's in flux and fighting. You will watch a big chunk of independents go, yeah, just vote for the Democrat because that guy, they got a plan or whatever, right? You saw it with Mamdani. Mamdani had a plan. They'll go, okay, well, they got something. You will watch that devastate the Republicans in 2026. So, Raj, I want to say you underestimated my understanding of it. It's true. You're not wrong. I'm telling you, yes. I can say when I miss something, right? I can see it. Yep. Andrea, thank you for Sharpe memberships, guys. Please jump on a membership if you would. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know I am so late on membership shows. Andrea's actually been on them before. I am so late. I will make it up to you. I promise. In case you haven't noticed, it is just very challenging these last couple of months. Running for office has been just absorbing my time, but there's no tomorrow. So, but thank you for that. Guys, jump on those if you would. I really appreciate it. Thank you for that. The support. Every bit does count. Thank you. So, all right. Excuse me. I want to bring up something else. This is from a while ago. This is talking about did MAGA crushing the Tea Party back in the day. And where is this from? I go, well, you said, what? What are you talking about? You know what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, civil. That's what I'm talking about. What do you think I'm talking about? Of course. What else would I be talking about? This is actually with Justin Amash, someone who I think is just absolutely great, and Kennedy, who I adore. And I will say it every time I talk about Kennedy, and I'll keep saying it every single time. When I was getting my ass kicked in 2022, and nobody cared about me, and nobody wanted to help me out, Kennedy let me on her show more than once. In fact, I announced officially on her show in 2022. Kennedy was behind me the whole time. She never dissed me. She never backstabbed me. She is awesome and amazing. I adore her. And you should go watch her on Civil because she's amazing, because Kennedy is awesome. And that's how that works.
Thank you, everybody. I'm Nick Gillespie. This is a special live version of the Reason interview at the Ron Paul barbecue. And I'm joined by Fox News personality Kennedy.
Hello.
Late of MTV, and the former and future representative of Michigan, I hope, Justin Amash.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
All right, so let's start out by talking about Ron Paul.
Now, these are the kind of conversations that you can have watching Civil that you can't have other places. You go someplace else, what do you get? Left-leaning, right-leaning, Republican, Democrat, or if you find a libertarian place, it's up here somewhere, hoity-toity, talking about Rothbardy or whatever, that kind of stuff. This is talking about what happened, right? What happened? Justin Amash used to be a Republican. He then became a libertarian. He's been in Congress. Kennedy's been through this stuff forever, who knows how long, and is very libertarian, has been so forever. These are the good conversations you can have here on Civil. It is civil.com, CIVL.com. Promo code is Larry10. Larry, the coolest name on the internet, plus 10 for 10% off. Larry10 is the code. Watch things like this. Every single show I do, I am showing you cool stuff on Civil. Why? Because even I'm on Civil. Yes, I am. 6 specific shows, We Fix It Wednesday, that are only on Civil. You can't get it someplace else. But I want to watch it someplace else. You may not. You may only watch it on Civil. That's it. So you want to help me out? Head over to civil.com, code Larry10. They're a sponsor of the show, helping us rock and roll. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate the support. All right, let me grab a couple more of these if I can. John, thank you so much for 5 more members. Guys, grab those members if you can. I appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. Nate, thank you, brother. I understand you'll be in Oneida County next month. Where else are you going to be and when? Hold on, let me see if I can find. Yes, I will be in Oneida County. That is true. I will be there. It is early January. I will be in Oneida noon on January 9th, Friday is where I'll be. January 9th on Friday at noon, I'll be in Oneida County. I'll be in Albany, 6 p.m. the day before on Thursday. And at Saturday, I'll be in Cortland, Otsego, Montgomery counties, And then that Sunday, I'll be in Washington County and Columbia County. So yes, I am back in action, rocking and or rolling across the state yet again. It's a little bit of a break because it's snowy and it's cold, so I haven't gone out that much recently, but I'm gonna get back out. I can't stay in too long. So I will be in beginning of January. I'll be back up more like Central New York-ish. Then at the end of January, I'll be in Cayuga, Oswego, Herkimer, Schenectady, Rensselaer, and Rockland. So I'll be in a bunch of those. I'm also doing a Hudson County event. Hudson Valley event. Hudson Valley event, January 31st, and a Brooklyn event also that same day. Then I'm way out in Western New York in early February, Allegheny County, Chautauqua, Wyoming, Chemung, Broome, and Ulster. So I'll be doing a bunch there. So yes, all those things. I will be out and about. I'm always out and about. So thank you for that, Nate. I appreciate it. Thank you for $10, brother. I do appreciate it. Phil, thank you for the membership. Killing it, guys. Thank you so much. Killing it, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Keep them going. Yes, indeed. All righty. Let me keep grabbing down here if I can. Where are we? All right. I got so many of these. I want to keep going. All righty. And Daniel, giving memberships, guys. Yes, thank you. Grab those memberships, guys. I will get back to do membership shows. I know it's been a while. I know. But I will get back to it. I promise. I promise to get back to them. I will. Absolutely. All right. I'm see if I can find some more of these if I can. John says, that's why Josh Shapiro is the best chance for the Dems in a nationwide election. Maybe. I'm not sure about that one. Maybe. I could see it, but he's establishment too. So maybe. So, all right. Let's see here. Andrew says, when it comes to young people and this Republican Civil War, is this of a generational collapse and more so of generational transformation, with the younger folks pushing the party to be more America first and right wing? That's true. I think that's accurate. Yeah, that's true. Yes, I think the younger people do think that. Yes, I think you're right. All right. Phil says, that's why the U.S. likes to work with the Saudis. They will do what we want them to do without the moral reservations. Yes. Yes. So Key says, my question is, legally, can only New Yorkers vote for Larry? As a Floridian, I've heard some states do not require residency or proof ID to vote. Also voted multiple times. Okay, legal versus reality. Legally, only New Yorkers can vote for me. Legally, we're supposed to be able to have ID. In reality, people rarely check. You can just ask people here in New York State. It is where they check. You show your ID like whatever. They rarely check. They just don't. Ask anyone who's in New York. They rarely check. If you show them their ID, they ignore you. They just don't check. But legally, yes. Legally, you are correct. Reality, I don't know. Yes. HVAC says the New York gubernatorial election will probably cost $1 billion. No, it won't cost that much. It won't cost that much. Is it possible it could go to $100 million? Yes, it could. That is possible. But I don't think it's likely, but it's possible. And again, only there's a chance, right? If Blakeman just runs, as assuming he'll run, and it's Blakeman against Kathy Hochul, it'll be maybe 30 million total. Maybe. Probably less than that. Blakeman will probably raise 10 million, maybe, give or take, in that area. He'll spend 6 of it and then put 4 in his pocket, do some other endeavors, in an obvious loss. Hochul will have 20 million already in her pocket. She'll spend 5 million maybe, and that'll be the end of it. They'll pay her grifters, he'll pay her friends off, and then move on. Unless there's an actual chance of victory, which is only if I become the nominee, then there's an actual chance of victory. Otherwise, there's no chance of victory. They're aware of that. So, yes. All righty. John says, I'll support you no matter what you decide. Like, oh, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Yes, I do appreciate that. Yes. All righty. Wesley says, is there a reason not to go Republican line? There would be a reason, right? It would be, why bother, right? Why bother trying to go for a line? Right? Why bother going for a line that I wouldn't be able to win? Just to say I went for the line. I mean, I try to only do things that I think will have impact, right? Because I'm sitting here asking you guys to support me. I'm asking you guys to give me money. I'm asking you guys to show up to my events. I'm asking you to do a lot. I'm constantly saying, do stuff for me. Of course I am. Well, I don't want you to be doing stuff for me if there's not going to be a possibility of real impact. Now in 2022, I failed, but I thought there'd be impact. I did it because I believed it. In 2018, there was impact. It worked, right? 2018 was a victory. 2022 was a loss. In both cases, I thought I could make impact. Once I was right, once I was wrong. In this case, I think I can. I would go for the Republican line if I thought it could create impact. And I'm starting to think it might, which is why I'm rethinking it. In the past, I would. Do I go for a Republican line and then fight to be a Republican and still lose by whatever points anyway? So what? So I lost by less? So why did I take all your money? So I can lose by less? No, I want to make sure that I can gain ballot access for independent parties so I can move the needle forward for the country as a whole. Right? People ask me all the time, why don't you run for something local? Because I'm not just trying to win. I don't want to just win something. Right? Why would I want to be, say, city council? Could I win city council? Sure. I could become a Democrat tomorrow and run for city council. Could I win? Sure. I'd just become a Democrat and I'd have a win and I'd become a city councilman. Okay. Or Assemblyman. Mamdani's gone, so I want to get his seat. I become a Republican tomorrow and then run for Mamdani's seat. I could win. What impact would I make? None. What change would I make? None. I'd probably make less money than I make when I do my full-time job. For what? So I can tell you guys that I won for some kind of vanity project? I have a show with my name on it. I have enough vanity projects in my life. I'm good. I don't require any more. Right? I got one. I'm good. I don't need any more. So is that what I need? No, Wesley, if I'm going to sit here and say, Wesley, give me money. Wesley, show up to my events. Wesley, do these things. I want to be able to give you some impact. In the long run, I'm still a business guy. And I want to provide value to my customers, right? I don't want to just take your money and not provide value. I want to take your money and provide value. I don't want you being like, I wish I'd never given that guy money. I was like, yeah, I'm glad I gave the guy money. He did some value. He said he was going to do stuff. He did. That's what I want. Now, again, 2022, I failed. And some people will never forgive me for it forever because I'm supposed to be awesome and great all the time and know everything. I mean, I'm pretty smart, but not everything, obviously, right? And I can't win every battle. So I couldn't win that one. But can I win this one? Maybe. If I can get the Republican line. So that's why I'm considering it. The reason to not go would be it's a waste of time, money, and energy. That would be the reason not to. But if I think I can actually do it and I can make it happen, that would be the reason to do so, if that makes any sense. So, yes. Missy says, all 4 lines would be very clever. Yes, and for those who don't know, in New York State fusion voting, I'd be listed 4 times, and all the votes count together. That's how New York State works. Other states don't work that way. New York State does. So, yeah, just to kick that one. So. It says take the line. Yes. Gene says, what does the phrase being primaried mean? It means that someone decides, a party says they don't like you, so they put somebody up against you so you'll lose in the primary. Or if you don't lose in the primary, if it spends so much money in the primary, you don't have that money when you fight your Democrats. You lose you lose your race. So yes, that's an issue. So that's what that means. So I hope that makes sense. All righty. Okay, I think we covered that piece already. Okay, I think we got that one. All right, let's see here. Well, there's a whole bunch. You guys have so many. I'm going to grab some more of these. There's so many of them. I'm falling behind here. Robert says, Butch Ware is running for California governor, but I have no idea how well he's doing. I would have preferred he started his ground game a lot sooner, but what do I know? No, look, Butch Ware is a very good speaker. He moves a crowd better than most. The problem is California has the top 2. So for those who don't know, it's called a jungle primary. It's terrible. Anyone can be on the ballot, which that part I like, but then just the top 2 go to the actual election. So they still make it top 2 either way. So everyone goes in the big primary. The 2 people get the top 2 votes, they go to the actual election. In theory, it could be 2 Democrats. It's not by party. So it doesn't matter. It could be 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, 2 independents, whoever. So far, it's always wound up being a Republican Democrat, but eventually it's going to be 2 Democrats. So to be a left Democrat and a more left Democrat. That's what will wind up happening eventually. So Butch has no chance of victory because he's not established enough because of the jungle primary. If there was a regular primary where he could just say Green Party, or he could just be, say, Working Families Party, he would have a chance in California. He's got no chance in California because of their system. I know the feeling, Robert. I know the feeling. They often make systems that just destroy people. And so that's why he has no chance because of that. Nosy says, what about Pat Hahn? Union Bank running for a Republican ticket. He better raise some damn money. If he can't get 15,000 signatures, there's not going to be a primary. What the how it works in New York State, Nosy, is the Republicans are going to say, we back person X, whoever that person is. And therefore, there is no primary. And their rules state, I think is it 75%? I forgot what the rules. I think 75%. If 75% weighted of the delegates at their convention, which I think their convention's in March, I think, in that area. Whenever the convention is, if they vote 75% or more, there is no primary. Done. The only way you can make the primary is if you have to then go out and be a Republican and get 15,000 signatures from Republicans. 15,000 registered Republicans that have to sign and going, we want a primary. If that happens, then they force a primary. That's how that works. So Pat would have to raise enough money to get 15,000 signatures. Can he do it? If he can't, he has no chance anyway. I don't know Pat, so I'm not saying he can or cannot. I don't know. What I'm saying is if he cannot, he has no chance anyway. So yes. Could I? Yes. Could Blakeman? Yes. This is why once Stefanik came in, they said that was Stefanik already. Republicans in New York State said Stefanik she's our gal. No one else can be there. And then Blakeman came in. They went, oh, Blakeman has money and name recognition in Long Island. He could easily get 15,000 signatures. Damn it, we have a primary. And Blakeman knew that. That's why Blakeman said it. Blakeman knew he has the money and the name. He can get 15,000 signatures. Yes. I got 40-some-thousand signatures last time I ran, so I can do it too. Can Pat? Again, open question. I don't know Pat at all. If he cannot, he has no chance. If he can, do it. Perfectly done. So yes, hope that makes sense. So, all righty. I think we covered a bunch of those. All right. MW Knox says, I think Vance is smarter than Trump, but he's not nearly as strong as the personality. Whether that's true or not, that's the most important piece. Trump has a force of will that is insane. Again, whether you like him or not, that isn't the point. His force of will is one of the strongest I've ever seen. He just stays on it. He just goes. Just boom, double down, triple down, quadruple down. Crazy. But that's how you keep these guys in line. Literally says, take the line, hashtag. I guess you take the line then. There we go. I appreciate that, guys. Yes. All righty. I will grab some more of these if I can. So many of these. I'm trying to get through these if I can. All righty. Robert goes on to say, I think politicians on both sides of the aisle have miscalculated just how anti-war America is. Larry Sharpe, how do you think Venezuela and Nigeria affect Trump? I agree with you. I think, look, can Americans be pro-war? Yes. If they do the right propaganda for us early, right? We like, as Americans, we like propaganda, Robert. We do. We eat it up. Most people do, but Americans do too. We like propaganda. And if you give us we're righteous and we're saving the world, we eat that up. We're going to stop the bad guys. We like that. Americans do like that stuff. Most people do. It's not uncommon, but we do. So with that in mind, if he had done it, he did none of that. Trump's communication this term was worse than first term. I think he's more like, I'm tired. You're supposed to believe in me already. And just understand, just believe it. His communication has not been good. He failed to communicate well on the wars. He failed to communicate well on his tariffs. He could have gotten tariffs through, and he could have got the other ones through. He could have got all of them through. He could have. If he had communicated well. Again, my example, as always, is Malay. Malay communicated well to the people of Argentina. He was like, this first year is going to suck. Give me a year, and I'll show you some value. Here's where I'll show it to you right here. And he did. And people went, okay, we're in. Trump did not do that well. He did not do that well. And I think, could he have convinced Americans to bomb Nigeria, bomb Venezuela? Maybe, but he didn't even try. And that's why it's going to hurt him. I think this is going to hurt him. Because, again, Republicans are behind him, but the independents aren't. Most independents are anti-war. Most are anti-war. A lot of his coalition is anti-war. It's the Tulsi Gabbard side. A lot of them, Maha's anti-war. A lot of them are anti-war. He's not keeping his coalition together. So, yes, I think it will affect him. Absolutely. These people aren't happy. They don't like it. So, yes. The beauty says Trump has his own swamp. True. But there's no way around it. Robert goes on to say, if America goes towards a UBI, I have no doubt it will be barely above subsistence level. And it will push back against the idea that America could do no reparations for Black Americans. Two pieces. It's supposed to be that. It's supposed to be that. UBI is supposed to be just above. That's the goal of it. Yes, you're correct. It will be that. There's already pushback against reparation for Black Americans. That's not new. Pushback forever. Not new. Not at all. Nothing new. Thank you. Bronxer 78. I appreciate it. The $50. Whichever decision you make about party and lines will be the correct one. Thank you for that. We know that your true north is making New York freer, happier, and more prosperous. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I take that seriously. Thank you very much. I want to make sure we can make something happen. On a personal note, I saw 2018, and I still see it as a victory. In 2018, we got ballot access for the Libertarian Party. We got 100,000 votes, even though the system was against us. We were able to get 107 victories, local victories, which local movement is what it's all about. It's about localism. We saw the localism happen in 2019. We saw it. We didn't do that in 2022. 2022, we got our ass kicked. And I hate it because I raised the amount of money. I raised $500,000 the first time and got success. Happened the second time and got an ass whipping. I hate it. I don't want that again. I don't want to be out here telling you, trust me, let's make this happen, and then fail again. I don't want it. So I want to make it work to where you can look back and go, okay, yeah, he fell in 2022, but he got back up. We're good. We like him again. We're good. So yeah, that is one of the reasons why I'm considering this. In the past, I wouldn't have. Now I'm considering it. So we'll see. If you guys have comments on it, please put comments. Thank you for that. Bronxer, I appreciate it. Yes. All righty. Let's say here. HVAC says Republicans have a orange man bad equivalent. Republicans continue to say trans man bad because it works to their base. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Points, yeah, that was my earlier point. I'm with you. You will find that Republicans bring up trans issues and cultural issues now, not before, now far more than Democrats do. Democrats let that ship sail. But the problem is that was a major part of the Democratic Party years ago. It was major part. Republicans and never let Democrats forget it. So they keep bringing it up. So I think that's right. They can say trans man bad. Doesn't land as much though, right? Because they're not seeing it in their faces much. You're not seeing the Democrats push out the, what was it? Drag queen story hour. That's not coming out anymore. We don't see it that much anymore. We're seeing a lot of that just kind of go away. Democrats have kind of walked away from that stuff. You're seeing it everywhere. So I don't think it's as effective. You're right. They have it. But the problem with the trans man bad piece is while it works in their base already with them. So it isn't very effective. It doesn't, trans man bad doesn't unite the clans. Orange man bad does. Right? Orange man bad does. I think that's the difference. But you're right. They have it. It's just not, nobody else powerful. Orange man bad unites the left clans. It just does. If you're anywhere from Mamdani to Hochul or whatever you want, it unites the clans. Trans man bad doesn't. It's not as effective. So Andrew says, except Orange Man Bad won't hold up against J.D. Vance if Trump preps him well to be his heir. You can take Orange Man Bad rhetoric so far for so long, but people ask, what's your brand? Yes, but remember, if J.D. Vance does run for president in 2028, he hasn't announced, but let's, for the sake of argument, say he does, Trump will still be president, which means Orange Man Bad will still work. Now, 2032, it may not work. 2028, Orange Man Bad still works. Orange Man Bad still works 2028. So Andrew was going to say, what's the Democratic Party about now? We're not Trump. I'm not joking. We're not Trump. Yes. You keep saying that it still works, right? To get your base out. The question is, would you want to get involved in your base? Look, it doesn't work when the Republicans create their coalition. You're right. My point is, Trump is letting his coalition fall. If his coalition falls and the Democratic Party can unite its clans, they win just on turnout. Now, if Trump does revamp and bring his people back, if he does that, it won't work. You're right. Right? It depends what Trump does. At the moment, he's not. Will that change? If I'm assuming his people see what I see too, right? I'm assuming I'm not the only guy who sees this, right? That's one reason why, wherever they're putting him back out into the crowd. Right move, smart move. You get Trump back out into the crowd. You have him start realizing what's happening. He shakes his iron fist. He could put him back together. If he does, Democrats have to have something. If he doesn't, Orange Man battle will be enough because the Republican coalition will be broken. Am I making sense? I hope that makes sense, Andrew. And he goes, I've loved Kennedy ever since her MTV days. She was my favorite VJ. I remember her. Yes, absolutely. She's great. I'm as obviously huge Kennedy fan. Absolutely. So D9 says, what are your thoughts on potential conflict between Greece and Turkey? Silly, should not happen at all. I hope it will not. The Greeks will have no chance in any way, shape, or form. The economy cannot handle it. Politically, they can't handle it. Militarily, they can't handle it. Turkey is a monster. Turkey is the most powerful military in the Middle East. Not even close. Most powerful economy in the Middle East. They're actually considering right now building a secondary canal from the Black Sea into the Mediterranean. They haven't done it yet, but I think they're going to start it, whatever, because they're doing that. That's how much money they have for grand projects. The Greeks can't pay their bills. So, no. I hope the Greeks do not make that happen. It is a terrible idea. The Greeks should make a deal. Erdogan is a deal maker. Erdogan's a deal maker. Erdogan doesn't want to fight the Greeks. He doesn't want to fight Greeks. Erdogan's looking in the Middle East. He's not looking at Greece. The Greeks should be smart, make a deal, walk away. Not the right answer for them whatsoever. I'm not advising the Greeks, but if I was, I'd be like, make a deal, leave Erdogan alone, let him go fight in Syria, let him go fight his Armenians and his Kurds. That's who he wants to fight. Let him go fight his Kurds and Armenians. You don't need to be fighting Greeks. The Greeks might be thinking, maybe, and I can understand if they were, hey, he is, all tied up with it, with Kurdistan and Syria and Russia on his border and Erdogan's trying to be involved in closing and solving the Ukraine-Russia war. It's not working, but he's trying to get involved in that. So maybe the Greeks are like, now's our time. Greeks, you're wrong. Now is not your time. Erdogan can do more than one thing at a time. And again, what's it like 90 million Turks, something like that? Is that about right? I think about 90 million. About 90 million Turks, give or take, in that area. And what's it like? 8 million, 10 million Greeks? And the GDP, probably 8 times the same. Military, probably 10, 20 times. In Europe, the Turks have the largest army in NATO. In Europe. Largest army in NATO. We have the largest army, obviously, outside of NATO, outside of Europe. But in Europe, Turks have the largest army in NATO. Bigger than all the rest of the armies. More main battle tanks, more troops. And they've been fighting. They've been fighting in Kurdistan. They've been fighting in Syria. When's the last time the Greeks been in war? That wasn't civil. I mean, they fought civil war. 70s, was it? 60s? Whatever they fought. But that wasn't a civil war. I don't know. They fought against the Italians and Germans in, 41? It's the last time they fought? 80 years ago. They ain't no generals alive. I would not mess with them at all. Walk away from that. Walk away. All righty. Grab a couple of these here. Kenny does have a podcast. Kenny Saves the World. I was on it. So, yes, I've already been on it. So, I appreciate that. I was already on it. That's awesome. So, yes. All right. Phil, thank you $2. Is reaction to the woke the same with hippies 50 years ago? Is reaction to the woke the same with hippies 50 years ago? So, you're saying like in the 70s? Maybe. I mean, I think that is what happened. Right? I mean, we went from like hippies to like young Republicans who like Reagan. So I guess maybe I could see it that way. So you're saying like the wokesters go to become, you know what? That's not a bad idea. I could see that. If you go back 10 years to 2015, 2010, most of the youngsters were much more left-leaning. Now they're much more right-leaning. So maybe. I could see it. I could see that. Yeah. I could see it. All righty. Keep grabbing if I can. Josh Shapiro served in IDF. He's never become president. Thank you. Exactly. Yeah. Josh, outdated. Yeah. I'm not sure I'm buying the Josh Shapiro thing. I'm not. So Andrew says, do you think we should have ID? A lot of New Yorkers think so. Yes, and we do. Like our actual laws in New York aren't bad. We don't follow them. The people, they don't follow them. The laws in New York State for election aren't bad laws. The problem is the physical people there go, I don't care. That's what actually happens. They don't follow them. And no one seems to care. That's the issue. So, yes. All righty. Let's see. Robert says, Larry Sharpe, do you think next social civil war will be a generational one? We've seen one based on race and now one based on gender. What about the generational divide? Yes, I think it's already happening. It's already happening. So many youth, youngsters hate boomers. It's like cool to hate boomers. So I could see that. I definitely could see it because a lot of the youngsters think it's cool to hate boomers. I definitely could see that, Robert. It makes a lot of sense. I could see it. And I could see it to where if things get really bad, and when I see really bad, I could see the youngsters literally voting to seize the assets of the elderly, just saying we're taking them. Now, will they physically do it? If you've got 8 to 10 million men who've checked out. If there is some Fuentes type, not him obviously, but some Fuentes type who goes, join my army and we will physically go and take things. Yeah. Yes, I can see it. Absolutely. So, alrighty. Andrew says, I'm willing to bet that the wild card might be someone like, I don't know, a Stephen Smith or Jon Stewart. Yeah, someone like that. I don't know if those two guys are the right guys, but I could see someone like that. I think that's, someone who comes out of the entertainment sphere like that, like Trump came out of entertainment. I can see someone like that. I don't think those two. Jon Stewart, maybe. Jon Stewart is savvier than Stephen Smith. Stephen A. Smith has a lot of charisma, so I could see him making some impact, and I could see him moving the needle for sure. But someone like a Jon Stewart has a bit more gravitas, and also has been in the political world via his news and Daily Show for decades, where Stephen A. Smith is a new thing for him. So I think Stephen A. Smith could easily be a, 10 years from now player. Maybe he runs something now to learn some stuff, and then maybe 10 years from now becomes a player. I could see something like that with him. I think the odds of him stepping up now and winning, I think, are slim. But look, if the all depends on what the competition is. If the competition is bad, well, I think Stewart has a much better chance. Nate says, with the New York GOP allied to run their primary not being a racial Republican? It depends, right? There are two ways for me taking the Republican line. I could get them to agree, and that's the harder one for many reasons. If they agree to give me what's called the Wilson Bakula, that's the name of the piece of paper they would need to give me. They could do it. They could, and it's happened in the past, so it could happen. If they were to agree, they'd probably want me to agree to do other things, so I'd probably have to make concessions. I'm not sure if I'd want to make concessions, to be forward with you, but I'm just telling you how it would work. I mean, unless they really just were like desperate and thought, well, Larry could win. But most of the establishment, there's a difference between the establishment and the regular voter. The average Republican would love for me to be in the primary. If you just ask Republican, they would love it. Go to primary, 100%. They would love it. They would love it. It would make Blakeman better, or I'd win. Most average Republican voters would just love it. Larry getting the Republican primary, love it. Either Blakeman's got to get better to beat me, or I beat Blakeman. Either way, they get a better candidate. So most Republicans would happily do that. The establishment wants nothing to do with that. The establishment wants to just stay. They like status quo. They don't want to change anything. So the establishment would be against it. They would want me to somehow give concessions, I assume. Again, I haven't walked down this road much. I just thought about it recently. It's a new thing I've been thinking about because of this Civil War stuff. I'm really thinking about it now. So I'd have to probably give concessions. If they wouldn't want concessions, or concessions that I would already agree with, like, support the Second Amendment. Okay, that's not a concession for me. If it was that type, then I wouldn't mind. I would do it. Otherwise, I'd have to just change the registration in February and just take it. Just change registration, get about 15,000 signatures, and just go and just take it. It would be like almost like a takeover, like that. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? Oh my God, I'm getting myself in trouble. But yes, but I think that's how it would have to be. So not sure yet on what the right answer is, but yeah. So Missy says, you could take the R line, reach out and take it. Take the line trending. I like that. Little Frog, more lines, the better. I agree. More lines are the better. Yes. 99 says, Larry's probably better to try to get in the line earlier than Ryan. It's true also, but you know what? I also don't want to make a decision that I regret. I want to make sure it's the right decision. And I haven't thought it through enough to be able to say I will do it. I'm saying I'm open to it right now. I'm thinking about it, but I don't know if I want to go down that road. I'm still on the fence right now, but yeah, I'm still considering it. I think, yeah, maybe I'm open to that idea. So yes. Nate says, Republicans, Larry, if you run this party, you'll split the Republican vote. Larry, okay, I'll run the Republican line too. True. There we go. Yes. All righty. Shelley says, take all the lines. You can debate with the best. That this is true. Yes. This is true. Yes. So that's what I'm thinking. Tara Wombat says, Javier Milei had the benefit of an influx of USA cash. Yes, recently, but he did what he did earlier. You're right. Now he got that influence. Good for him, right? But yeah, but in the past, he didn't have that. He communicated this way before he got the cash. So yes, you're correct, but he did do it prior to it. So yes. Mass Manaus says, Alaskans love the UBI. I'm trying to work on stuff that people will see it. Yes. So he says, I would pay money to see Hochul and Larry debate. She would absolutely debate. She would. Phil, colonize the New York GOP. Will I become the colonizer, Phil? You want me to become a colonizer? You're going to get me in trouble with Democrats. Become a colonizer. That's me. I'm a colonizer now. That's it. Your mayor says, Larry Sharpe, Governor of New York. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. All right, that's good. All right. Robert says, Larry, what do you think about the media mergers that are at least outwardly facing are being presented as a means of propaganda for the democracies of Israel? I think the mergers have been terrible for a long time. This is no better. And while that could be a reason, it's bad either way. It's bad either way, yes. So, and then Knox says, neocons will pull out Islam bad. They kind of are, but the problem is unless you have a Muslim or someone who is, Muslim connected as a candidate, it won't matter, right? But yes, they'll probably pull out Islam bad. Neocons often do, but let's say they have some guy or gal who's Christian. They'd have to have someone like, I don't know, married a Muslim or is a Muslim, then maybe. Otherwise, why would it matter? Not that they wouldn't do it, but I don't know if it would matter. So yes. All right. Sully says they're saying hillbilly man bad lately. Yes. 99 says, as someone who has supported you from a libertarian place for a long time, take the damn Republican line. Okay. Well, there we go. It's too tribal for you to break this shadow ban without it. Just don't drink the swamp. Yeah, I don't think that's a thing. I think you're right. I think I won't drink the swamp. At least not right away, but maybe later I will. So yes. John says running as Republican will get Larry more money, but might just increase his shadow ban on social media. I think the opposite. I think actually 99 is correct. I think it would actually lessen it. Generally speaking, the more you see mainstream, the less they shadow ban. So yes. Nosy says Turkey is wicked. I wouldn't say Turkey is Erdogan. I always make sure that I make a distinction between the people and leadership. So Nosy, I'm going to make a distinction on that one. Liberty says, wait until the Republican podcast come out of woodworks to interview Larry when he takes the line. This is true. There's a thing I've been thinking about too. You make a valid point, D. If I take that line, all of a sudden, all the Republican people are like, let's get Larry on the show so he can say Democrats bad. So yeah, that's true. I think that's accurate. So yes. 6022 says, Larry, will you commit to visiting Athens and make an offering to Zeus when you become governor? Well, I will not, as I will not travel to any foreign country unless I go on vacation myself because I enjoy that country. But I would never do it as governor to any foreign country because I'd be running for governor. If I ever run for president, I might. If I ever run for Congress or Senate, if I ever do that, maybe I would. But I'm running for governor, which means my goal will be to help out New Yorkers. So no, I will not do that. But I appreciate that. 100%. Yes. All right. Wesley says, I think getting the line would break the shadow ban. Even running in the Republican primary and being a Republican primary debates and ultimately losing would break the shadow ban. That's not bad. I could see it. Yes, that's true. Key says, wokeness is a fad used to promote government control. Wokeness is a fad used to promote government control. I think this part is true. Yeah, I could see that. I see where you come with that. I can. Yes. Young Nate says they checked my ID at the polls here in Madison County, conservative county. They've had a law. Yes, that was my point, Nate. The laws in New York State, we have voter ID in New York State. We do. That's the thing. So the laws aren't bad, but many places don't check. Obviously, your county does. Mine does not. Mine does not. Maybe if Mike's still watching and ask if he does in the Bronx. They don't in Queens. They don't. So yes. So any case. All righty. Let's see here. I have a question on Rumble. Is Larry doing an end of year episode and a New Year's episode like he did last year? I don't know. I'll try. We'll figure it out. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So yes. Robert says the younger kids, millennials on down, have every right to call out boomers. Their politics or lack thereof have helped calcify wealth into fewer and fewer hands. Accurate statement. You're not wrong. Accurate statement. That's true. And that's why they're mad. That's why they're mad. That's why they get angry. This is why so many people just go, oh, you know, Gen Zers, you're all just lazy and you want free stuff. And I would say many of them feel like they've been robbed. They feel like they've been cheated. So I think you have a valid point. Yes. So he says, talk to Blakeman, can't hurt to ask. True. Let's take that line. I'm Gen X, but I understand the okay boomer thing between boomers and Gen Z and Gen Alpha even. Yep. Strayer says, takeover gets a lot of press. True. You're not wrong. It does. Yes. Jason says, the new mayor in Olean ran under both Republican and Democrat. Yes, you can do it in New York State. You can run under multiple lines. Yes. And when the incumbent Republican had to run under the Lincoln Party. Wow. The Lincoln. Wow. That's crazy. Yes. Phil says, Larry's like Thanos collecting party stones. He is inevitable. I am inevitable. It's true. I'm going to collect all the party stones. But that's only 4 stones, Phil. I got to collect the 5th one. Is that forward party? Now I got to find a 5th one. I don't know what that is. I got to find a 5th stone. Or I can't. So I got to get that. Yeah, I got to do that. Yes, absolutely. 99 says, F them, just take it. Do it. Okay, I see where you are standing. I get that completely. I do like the inevitable. So yes. Andrew says, the colonizer bit gives me the idea. I like that. I like that. So yeah, the colonizer thing is kind of cool. I do like that. So Griffin says, I missed the Larry Shop AI video memes like the one on Halloween. Those are awesome. We are working on it, guys. We have, through this last couple of days, the team's taking a bit of a break. So we haven't put out that much as we probably could have, probably should have, but we haven't. But we'll get back on it. It's been a very tough end of year. That's what I would say. It's been a tough end of year. So I appreciate it. Yes, we are trying. All righty. Let me keep going here. All right. Shelly says, they don't check ID by me. There we go. Yes, they see if my signature matches the one on file, plus another monitors. Yeah, so it depends where you are. It depends where you are there. Exactly. Yes. So, LaRouche party is the last stone. I spoke to Diane Sayer today, believe it or not. I'm not joking. I spoke to her today. You say that. I spoke to her today. So, yes, maybe, you know what? Maybe LaRouche is the last stone. Okay. Maybe that's the last one. Then I snap my fingers and I am indeed inevitable. So, guys, I've asked you 1,000 times, click the button known as like. Please do so if you have not already. Please click that button. If you enjoy what I do, show it. Click the button known as like so I can grow this damn thing. I'm trying my damnedest to. It is very challenging. So help me out. Share this any place you possibly can. If you haven't already become a channel member, please become if you can. It does matter. If you can do so, please go ahead. It's always good. So to help out to the best of your ability. And of course, remember, after the live, please comment. And comment, what do you think about the Republican Civil War? Does it matter? Does the MAGA war matter or not? Is it just talk? Does it really matter or not? Please do so. And of course, if it's not live, just click on one of the videos that'll pop up right away. Watch it right away for 8-10 minutes. Mr. Rhythm loves it. Algorithm. I'll be back on Monday and Tuesday next week. I'll see you all very soon.